Hey guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here, and today I want to talk about why Batman's a Mary Sue. I know I'm going to piss off a lot of people with this title, but I really don't care. It's just my opinion on him, and I think it's true. But I will say this, I do love Batman. I think he's a great character, but let's be honest, he is definitely a Mary Sue, a male version of Mary Sue. And I know there's a term for that too, but I just don't remember what it is, and to be honest, I really don't care about it either. He is definitely a Mary Sue, and I want to go on to that discussion as a whole because this term usually comes up to female characters. Obviously, they're written perfect, and it's used a lot in modern day with the whole powerful women movement, where there've been a lot of TV shows and movies where they've been writing powerful women, and the way they write them is basically making them perfect without any flaws, which is very stupid, very lazy, and very ham-fisted way of writing a character. This is basically them ass-kissing women, saying they're perfect and that they're superior. And a lot of times these shows is just to bash on men and elevate women. And it's fine to say women are great and make very powerful female characters. I'm fine with that. But when you start bashing on men and then start writing these ridiculously characters where they have no flaws, that's when it becomes a problem for me and a lot of guys. A lot of guys have a problem with this, but I also do feel like a lot of these guys that make these arguments are very disingenuous when they talk about these topics, because I think, I'm gonna be honest, I do think a lot of guys don't want female lead movies and TV shows and powerful female lead characters, and some guys, the guys that are saying this, not all of them believe this. There are a lot that do believe, they want a strongly written female character, are fine with it, and they don't have a problem with that. But there are some guys there that don't want it and are disingenuous and making these arguments to piggyback off of it to make it sound like they're not doing this because they have a hate. They're doing this because, not just to hate, but they have a reason. And like I said, I do agree with this somewhat, but I also disagree with it. And I do hate those type of female characters that write them perfect. And I think it's lazy. I think it's fine to write a character that has vulnerabilities in them. And that's where I have a problem with it. But I also have a problem with guys making it sound like they didn't have a problem. They were okay with, other guys doing that. Because let's be honest, there's a ton of male characters out there that are also perfect. And I don't see the same amount of animosity towards that or intensity towards that as they do towards the female powerful characters. And I feel like whatever reason they may have, I just feel like it's very disingenuous to be like, I don't like these Mary Sues because they're too perfect. They need to have characters with struggles. But then you have male characters that don't struggle either and are perfect, like killing machines, and you don't have a problem with that either. So there's also the disingenuous argument there. And I just want to be as fair as possible because that's what I really care about, especially in this discussion. I'm not trying to say, oh, one side is correct or the other. I'm just trying to point out people who are either lying or making excuses for one way or another. Now, let's get into the whole Mary Sue aspect. We have seen this quite a bit. We've seen this with Rey and Star Wars. We've seen this with I think her name was Talia or whatever it was in Masters of the Universe. They literally had He-Man, the main character, as a side character, and her's the main character, and she's super smart, super strong, and apparently her biggest fear is she's too perfect, which is stupid writing. I hate that so much. That is just ass-kissing women. I hate when they do this where they bash on men and elevate women to this ridiculous height. It's fine to say, hey, women are powerful, women are great, but you don't have to shit on men for it, and you don't have to make women perfect either. You can make a character strong, but also have their own problem. And they themselves are very disingenuous with saying, there's never been strong female characters. No, there has. Sarah Connor, Ridley Scott from the Alien universe. We had Wonder Woman in the comics. There's a ton of strong female characters. Obviously, nowadays there's more, but the writing for them is far worse than what it was before. Because before, they weren't just saying, oh, they're women, they can do everything. They're women, but these are badass women that came through adversity. They might at first have been just regular people, but going through these tough scenarios, they hardened, and because of it, they became stronger and better fighting these oppositions. Whereas nowadays it's just they're perfect from the beginning, they're perfect no matter what. Don't ever say that they're weak. Don't ever put any weakness. Don't ever have them struggle. And a lot of guys' problem is I can't believe that a woman, a small woman could beat a bunch of big guys. But let's be honest, there's a ton of movies where there's guys beating a ton of big dudes too. There's a ton of martial arts movies where there's a guy who's fighting against a muscle built giant and beating the crap out of them, but you don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with it. The only times I have a problem with it is when, it becomes a little too ridiculous, like Fast and Furious movies. I'm just like, okay, you're being stupid now. This is just stupid. But you can't be complaining about female characters whooping the crap out of big guys when we have men whooping the crap out of big guys and killing hordes of dudes. You're telling me one guy can go in an army like war scenario and wipe out entire like battalions and stuff by himself, and that is not ridiculous? Like Rambo's character isn't like ridiculously overpowered and just like stupidly written, even though I do think he's far more like interesting because he has that whole dilemma about war and how no matter how much he tries to get out of it, he keeps on falling back into it. So that I think is interesting. But let's be honest, he's still kind of like overpowered. And that's the reason why I'm specifically targeting Batman, because we see this a lot with other like female characters when it comes to comic books. Like, oh, this character, she's too, it's just too BS that she's this powerful and that. I'm like, have you not seen Batman? The guy is the definition of a Mary Sue. This guy is, he has a peak human condition. He's super smart. He's good looking. He's rich. He's super nice. Smart, like kind, charitable. He's perfect at holding all his alternative egos. He has all these other fighting styles. He has all this stuff. He's literally just a perfect person. The only problem is sometimes he can be a little too aggressive and too tunnel focused with fighting crime. But he's basically like a perfect character. I don't know why people are acting like Superman or like female characters are perfectly written when Batman is definitely that. I feel like Batman and certain characters get leeway because people like them because they're badass or cool. But like other characters, they don't like them because like, oh, I don't like this woman's attitude. I don't like it either, and I think it's BS. But you can't be saying Batman is fine because she's badass, but she's not because she's annoying. I get it if she's annoying, you don't like that, but you can't say she's weak because it doesn't make sense that she should be that strong because she's annoying, but it makes sense he should be that strong because he's cool. Like Batman's the definition of a Mary Sue as a whole. He's basically a perfect all-around character, and it's like that's why a lot of people don't like Batman. Say he's plot armor with the whole if he has prep time he can beat anybody. You guys want to ask us that and not say that's Mary Sue, but then when a woman does it, you have a problem with it? Like I said, I have a problem with that with any character and anybody arguing that. I think if you're going to write a female character, it's okay to write them with vulnerabilities. You can make them strong, but also make them have some drawbacks. Stop shitting on men. I'm sick and tired of seeing that. You can be surprised that guys don't want to watch your movies when you crap all over them, making them sound like idiots and like, horrible people, like we're monsters or just idiots. We're not. We're people too. We're some of us are smart. Some of us are just good, decent people. So stop trying to act like these women are perfect. A lot of these women in these roles, they act like just massive bitches, and then they wonder why nobody likes them. If I'm being honest, if I saw somebody like that, if you dealt with a guy like that who had that attitude, you would want to punch him, wouldn't you? So what's the difference between it being a woman and a guy acting like that? It's just one, you're okay with it because it's a woman, and the other one's a man. I just feel like that both sides are disingenuous when it comes to the feminists and the anti-feminists. They both have these disingenuous arguments. There's the people in the middle that are like, I'm okay with having strong female characters, but these are my problems. And then there's the guys that saying, oh, I don't like them because of these reasons, but then they give leeway to other people. And like I said, these old 80s action movies, they had these guys doing this. I was fine with it because I liked it. These the female characters, as long as they don't talk shit to the guys and they're not like belittling them, I'm okay with it. That's fine for me. I just think that a lot of people like to pick and choose and to pick sides. That's why I hate the feminist side, and that's why I hate the anti-feminist side, because both of them are too extreme, and they sometimes make good arguments, but a lot of them is out of bad faith. It's bad faith arguments. They don't really care about the argument itself. They just want to bash on the other side, or try to ass kiss their own side and try to make excuses for it. And I felt like Batman was, I guess the poster boy for the other side when it comes to that. But like I said, all around, I just have a problem with perfectly written characters. I think you can make characters strong, have majority of them having like, you can have them majority like strong and powerful, but at least throw in some weaknesses in there. And I'm not just talking about, oh, their weaknesses, they're too good and they're just like, oh man, I'm so amazing. No, it needs to be a real weakness, like, oh, sometimes they get overly confident, sometimes they doubt themselves, sometimes they're not they might be strong but they don't have enough stamina, something interesting, unique. So with that being said, have a good day.